It is another beautiful Monday morning, the first Monday in the month of November. Welcome aboard today's edition of Newspapers Today on OSBC TV. My name is Oluchi Amuda, and I'm starting today's review from the front page of the Blueprint newspaper. And it's leading with this story: 8 months after sack of REA management team, reps begin probe into $2 billion renewable energy investment. That is the story making the banner headlines on the front page of the Blueprint newspaper this Monday morning. And below the picture stories, we have these: NGE conference, Shetima, Diri, Idris, Ribado lead discussions on economy, security, and it comes with the rider Amoka or Shoba or Biagiri, others to address media challenges. Still on the front page of the Blueprint newspaper, 2025 AFCON, Nigerians in Libya face mass deportation after CAF ruling. That's a sad one there. And still there we have this: artisanal miners activities encouraging banditry in Niger states. FCT IGR rose to 2.43 trillion naira 2023. MBS. Lukman avenges Osimhen's humiliation, sinks Napoli. These are some of the stories on the front page of the Blueprint newspaper this Monday morning. Next is the business day. And the business day is laden with these stories: 70 firms exited Nigeria in 7 years on Forex power. That's a sad one there, and is the story making the banner headlines on the front page of the Business Day newspaper. We have other stories: the rise of Nigerian-born Badnoch, new Conservative Party leader. Nigeria wastes gas enough to power 3 million homes. What we would have done differently if elected president, says Atiku. These stories are on the front page of the Business Day newspaper. All right, next is the Punch. And the Punch is punching it this morning: end bad governance. Northern governors, ACF, others demand minors release. That is the story making the banner headlines on the front page of the Punch newspaper. And it comes with the riders: Northern governors, ACF, others demand minors relief. North must wake up. Bala Mohammed charges region. SANs differ on arranged minors. And below the picture stories on the front page of the Punch, we have the story: aggrieved residents protest as king politicians visit Spain flood area. US election, Harris, Trump in final push for votes. Man jailed 6 months for attempting to sit daughter's UTME. Government allocates 18 billion naira compensation for Lagos Calabar Highway. And above the masthead, we have the stories: FG projects 44 trillion naira revenue as reps oppose tax review. FG projects 44 trillion naira revenue as reps oppose tax review. Four marketers spent 833 billion naira on fuel import. Nigeria's forex market unstable, says Fitch. These stories are on the front page of the Punch newspaper this Monday morning. The Daily Independent is next. The Daily Independent is later with this story: with aggressive expansion, Nigerian banks beat economic headwinds on course to double their profits at year-end. That is the story making the banner headlines on the front page of the Daily Independent. CRAP gives Tinubu 48 hours to free malnourished minors, other protesters. Tinubu swears in new ministers today. Sanu Nasu suspends strike as FG agrees to pay withheld salaries. Public arrests 113 foreigners, 17 Nigerians over cybercrimes that threaten national security. Still on the front page of the Daily Independent: what I would have done differently if I were president, by Atiku. You would have been worse off as president, presidency replies. Our PMS cheaper than imported ones, says Dangote. Control of state resources, cause of Rivers political crisis, Fubara. Editors Conference, Shetima, Jiri, Bagodu, Idris, Ribadu, Nasima lead discussion on economy, security. These stories are on the front page of the Daily Independent newspaper. All right, let's take a look at what the New Telegraph has for us this Monday morning. The New Telegraph newspaper is leading with this story: End bad governance protest. Trying minors shows government as authoritarian, intolerant. ACF. That is the story making the banner headlines on the front page of the New Telegraph newspaper. And it comes with the rider, calls for their release, compensation. 32 detained children malnourished, says SIRAP. And below the picture story, control of state resources, cause of Rivers crisis, Fubara. These are some of the stories on the front page of the New Telegraph. Next is the Business AM. And the Business AM says, soaring airfares shuts out Nigerians from domestic flights. That is the story making the banner headlines on the front page of the Business AM. And it has the riders: government must address multiple taxation to save aviation industry, Aero Contractor CEO. Top 4 Nigerian lenders grow assets by 56% to 115 trillion naira in 9 months. Still on the front page of the Business AM, currency outside banks now 4 trillion naira, says CBN. These are some of the stories on the front page of the Business AM. Next is the Nigerian News Direct. The News Direct says, what I would have done differently, Atiku slams Tinubu's economic policy, offers alternative solution, says trial and error approach will only lead to more hardship. One overkill reforms will lead to business collapse, proposes $10 billion economic stimulus for MSMEs. That is the story making the banner headlines on the front page of the News Direct. We have other stories: IGR ranking, MBS report proves Ogun can survive without federal allocation. 48 hours ultimatum, release hungry, malnourished children. Other protesters, Syria tells Tinubu. PMS price, those importing PMS at lower price dumping substandard products in Nigerian markets, Dangote alleges. Adeleke, NITCAM CEO, NDLEA chairman, others confirm participation in News Direct awards. These stories are on the front page of the Nigerian News Direct. All right, the Nigerian Tribune is next. And the Nigerian Tribune says, reforms, what I would have done differently, Atiku. Nigerians rejected your ideas in 2023 presidency. Still on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, our petrol cheaper than imported ones, Dangote, says ex-depot price is 990 naira per litre for trucks. Police arrest 113 Chinese, Malaysians, 17 Nigerians for cybercrime hacking. How U.S. presidential election may be decided. Lagos Calabar Coastal Road, compensation to affected property owners hit 18 billion naira. Nigeria's productivity crisis deepens as per capita income drops $877. $7 productivity per hour below global's $26 per Botswana. Egypt $28 per hour. Poor economic leadership hinders growth, productivity. About the masthead of the Nigerian Tribune, cost of goods may rise as bank system migration cripples cargo clearance at seaport. Hot trial of minors release compensates detainees, ACF tells FG. Human Rights Commission condemns arraignment of minors. These are some of the stories on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. This day is next. And this day is leading with this story. Atiku, FG should adopt my manifesto. And presidency says Nigerians would have deteriorated under you. That is a story making the banner headlines on the front page of this day newspaper. Above the masthead, World Bank projects oil glut in 2025 foresees price drop to $73 per barrel. These are some of the stories on the front page of this day newspaper. We also have this: world on edge as U.S. presidential election holds tomorrow. End of tenure Thanksgiving, Obaseki celebrates achievements, successes. These are some of the stories on the front page of this day newspaper. Next is the leadership. And the leadership says 2 months after, NYSC core members yet to get 77,000 naira allowance. That is the story making the banner headlines on the front page of the leadership newspaper. Resorts to side jobs says current 33,000 naira allowance not sustainable. Organizations reduce core members' working days. Still on the front page of the leadership newspaper, Tinubu swears in ministers designate. Today, Falana wants charges against minors dropped. LP fails to win any LG seat in Abia. Varsity workers suspend strike. Our PMS cheaper than imported ones than Koti. Police arrest 130 foreign nationals, Nigerians, for hacking. These stories are on the front page of the leadership newspaper. Next is the national economy. The national economy says systems upgrade, customs 59 billion naira loss to e-fraud puts banks under pressure. Customers 59 billion naira loss to e-fraud puts banks under pressure. That is the story making the banner headlines on the front page of the national economy. The national economy also has this story. Nigeria's textile industry accounts for 0.10% of agro imports. World Bank urges CBN to stop ad hoc forex auctions. Imperative to maintain public infrastructure. These are the stories on the front page of the national economy. All right, let's have a look at what The Guardian has for us this morning. The Guardian newspaper, and it's leading with this story. FG begins food imports, may extend zero duty initiative timeline. That is the story making the banner headlines on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. FG begins food imports, may extend zero duty initiative timeline. Still on the front page of the Guardian, hardship, APC slams Makinde in IMPI backs Tinubu as Atiku offers alternative path. Resource control, real reason for Rivers political crisis, says Fubara. These are some of the stories on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. All right, let's have a look at what the Daily Sun has for us. The Daily Sun newspaper is leading with this story. ACF, Syrup, others angry over youth protesters' trial. That is the story making the banner headlines on the front page of the Daily Sun. And the Sporting Sun says, Lookman destroys Napoli with brace. Still on the front page of the Sporting Sun, Real Madrid ready, 20 million euro offer for Haaland. These are some of the stories on the front page of the Sporting Sun. All right, let's have a look at what the Vanguard has for us. The Vanguard newspaper is leading with this story. Why exporters are struggling. Investigation. That is the story making the banner headlines on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. Why exporters are struggling. We have another story. A cyber store, fierce legal battle, loans. These are some of the stories on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. All right, we also have another one. Presidency Atiku tango over economy. International firm hires depot to blend substandard petrol in Nigeria. Withheld pay. Normal also returns to varsities as workers suspend strike. AFCON 2025 qualifier. Libya begins mass arrest of Nigerians after CAF verdict. These stories are on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. The last but nevertheless is the Daily Trust. And the Daily Trust says, end bad governance. Families of detained minors cry for justice. That is the story making a banner headlines on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper, and it comes with the riders. I thought my son was dead. Falano, other lawyers challenge bail terms. IGP, prosecutors' utterances disappointing. ACF, Governor Yusuf demands detainees return to Kano. CSOs threatens mass action. Syrup wants minors release in 48 hours. Still on the front page of the Daily Trust, Dangote reveals petrol price sells at 990 naira per litre. Land mine kills 7 loggers in Borno. Presidency, Afenifere disagree over federal appointments. Site refinery in Kolmani, Forum tells FG. 2 Kano NMPP reps dump Kwakwansiya movement. Wanted terrorist leader Habu Joko arrested. These are some of the stories on the front page of the Daily Trust, and this is where we're going to call it today on today's edition of Newspapers Today on OSBC TV. On behalf of the assistant of the producer, Oluwatoyin Yusuf, and the production advisor, Motunrayo Ayegbayo. My name is Oluchi Amuda. Wishing you a wonderful day ahead. Bye for now.
I managed to find Yvette at a feeding center for street children in the city. She explained to me why she had deserted her sisters.
Ndinoda kuti Esther ari kuchengeta timu. Andina munhu watyira. Karugara nasekuni vane utsinzi. Kuti haitokwa ndiri ndo vanongotokwa nangu. Kaiva manje kuti nditani zvino.
I don't see that in the town, but we have no idea why. Who's one, Mama? Mama, that's already watching the jungle. Drinking that out school. Nandina mwana kana achindinetsa zvinoita kumunyararidza. Mwana anyanya tsatsirwa akanyanya kutema ungomusiya akadaro.
Iyo ajigira mwana chete apengiso.
Dade. Dade. Chai. Najua fumba kuti yetiana akarugara kuti alarame ngona kutofa adikala maushuba nda kurara ndichifumo chifunduka ndiri makaya zvigura kapfura nebamba takudzokera manayo tangavhunduka upenyu hwangu handimbofarira kudhoo mazuva ese nongogara rakakiwa rekumwa tasisinausirwa ndorarama aupenyu hwangu handimbofarira.
In northern Harare, Grace and Michelle are trying their luck and have returned to school even though they have no money. But with teachers not having been paid for months, fees aren't the only obstacle to the girls getting an education.
Takatanga fikira fure sakasata mbufunda chinhu maticha asikudzidzisana kuti anopiwa mari yacho yawo yakakwana. Katikatanga ndochikoro maticha vaitoti togona kuenda pastrike kana asina kupiwa mari yatiri kuda togona kuenda pastrike. Saka hanzi strike third term yakaoma hanzi saka munogona kutodofora mese klasi yese saka mutu waine mari muende kuma-extra lesson kana usina mari haminozve munongofoira mega kuti kumatemu matatu temu ino iri kudzingira kuti vanhu school fees. Tiri grade 7 ndakarosa chikoro kakawanda ndakafoira. Grade 7 ndo primary kupedzisira ndakafoira handizokwanise kuenda kusekondari.
It's all about making your viewing experience top-notch. You can...
Wachikora nanga chitidzinga chida kuda mari school fees. Ndinyaso kuti ndabereka ngati kwani bhadhara school fees. Ndasikabhuya goridhe ndachimundibhadhara school fees. Headmaster achandidzinga mari school fees achiri kushupa kuhana. Toti headmaster kusidzira mangwana vanhu vakutodzingwa neye school fees. I'm going to eat it.
We are here to teach pupils and English. So we need to dwell on my resources. I think it in my amenities because we are talking of my major resources. We're going to stationary plan, yeah. Just we have 4 boxes.
4 boxes. So it's no buttons away how many days?
Just 2 days.
Zvinenge zvatiomei zvino munoona kusava kuita vabereki vari kutarisana nematambudziko akasiyana siyana saka zvimwe tinoita tichimbotigadzirisei semuenzaniso muri kuziva vana vaiuya panapa ndai nanometa chovarwara vanga vasingaone mbuya vayo ndo vaichengeta vana vayo vari panze amutuma unotora zvinhu toenda kutore maplates panze uye tipakure sadza ndobva vaisa muchetura wakangosanganisa ndokuvaisira muchetura musadza vachibva vafa vese ndokudya vakafa toigadzirisa sei toiisa sei saka zvimwe zvinhu zvematambudziko zvandiri kuona kuti zviri kungobatawo nevamwe vanhu vari ivava vari kuuya vachipa maexcuses ekuti hatinawo mari hatina mari zvimwe zvinhu ngatinzwisisa hatinawo imwe minzi yatingakwanise kuita here kuti tikwanise kuti
tinotungamirwa nehurumende ndiyo inotipa bumbiro rayo remutengo rezvidzidzo. I'm just here for policy implementation. Chandinoita kuita zvakaudzwa
yapati tikada kuteera mutemo kawenyu ikadzingwa iyo kureva chikoro chese chaenda kumba hatisina chikoro pana nenhamba ichasara
zvitori nani pachikoro pakusara perekana na 116
taura yachikoro tikadaro
but zviri nani kuti dai kuri tine vana vari 16 vanobhadhira mari zvimwe mari zvose anoenderana nevana vari 16 it's okay. Pinai gogo vana ichigara
gara yenyako gogo evo igogo
ewa
meno tokubatsirai nei gogo
chichemo chaicho chemo ndicho chandikira kuti arega ndiende vaite masera kuti uyu musamutanda sezvino ndikazotsvaga mari ndikaiona ndapota ndikaiona ndikupai mari school fees ndaishaya munhu sonatnasi ndaiapata ndikandiende unoitawo chichemo
school fees inandengerwa $5 tikati vabereki nguva mukachema tadzikisa wamuchara katanga tisanganawo pachi $2 yacho ndeti iri kunetsa kuwana ndisi kuramba
ine ndinetsa kazvishuru
asi ndakuti mimi chiitewoti chero padiki diki tikaitawo $1 mukazombochema muchiti akambobhadharawo $1 zvinoti zvinotisi
ungaioneri zuva racho rokutati zuva rekuti imi hamuna kuti tineni michembere yakadai shoro ungabva mamoyo fanike chironda
gogo
mamoyo kwenyu kumaita mazokanganisa ndamangotitawo kuti ndikurukire mwoyo wenyu ugari pacho pamwe chete tisangane neni please ndinomiramira nditenise yakakagaba chaiko mumbamu kachigubhu chaiko hamuna ndoita se dakuti mune kachigubhu beta kagumbezi kuti hamuna ndoita sema
alright gogo pandanzwawo kuchema kwenyu sandapenda kuti mimi mukangowanawo chero 50 cents nemandi hadzuri kupa wana 50 cents chete asi kwani 50 cents anongodzokwa nevana
alright
sorry gaje
alright
open end of class
alright
50 cents ndikana mwena atidunyepa ndinoona hapana kudiniona kugarira futi
panenge ndikuriza ndavozive kuti kana ndikata muzvimwe yangodzimba mari yacho hapana kwandikwanisa kuiwana.
In Harare, things are not working out for Grace either.
Ndikaenda kuchikoro musemande ndikadzinga zvikanzi handinge chinobhadhara basawe ndakanzwa kubva ikana pandikaenda kuchikoro ndikadzinga.
If things don't change, I see my daughters in shambles. I don't think they will have a better life. They will keep on struggling.
Excluded from school, Grace has no choice but to return to the rubbish dumps to search for bones and attempt to earn her way back into school.
And they feel ichite. You ibonzo.
Ndiri president ndaendesa vana kuchikoro pamwe chibatsira nherera sina mai nababa nekugadzisa mateleki kupinza vanhu basa. Ndanga ndiri president ndaigadzirisa zvinhu zvese.
At Orbit School, the headmaster has given his accountant a list of all those children who have still not paid their fees.
The school is owned by the government, but sometimes it's failing to supply the needs of this school. We don't have money to buy stationery, you know what I mean? So if we let the children stay here, how can the teachers carry on their job? They have no chalks, no books. We have those things from the money they pay as a school fees. Today I've come here to send back the kids to tell their parents to give them money for the school fees. Since the term started, some of the kids paid school fees, but 3/4 of the kids haven't paid the school fees yet. It's not good, but that's how the situation is. There's nothing I can do. I have to send them back home, go and tell their parents to give them money for the school fees.
Ngoti kurangu mangwana ndakagonda chikoro. Nikura pasina chaunongochisiya.
Nyaya ndainga maiziva. Magara muchingozviziva ndeti? Mirai apa, pasina kubhadhara vaya. Mirai apa. Ndimi musina kubhadhara mari andeti? Ande. Right, iwe. Ande. Mamukaze, kamuka. Ndawa mbutauro ni vana. Mangwana ni vana. Nyaya yangu maiziva ka? Ndei. School fees handetika. Right. Kana usina kubhadhara buda timire kunzo. Asina kubhadhara. Udzurire vamwe mukova ugarire padhoyo wesu. Right. Ndiwa masara nawo ka. Mangwana ni vana. Ndamuka hangu, hani mondiziva? Good, nyaya yangu munoiziva? Ndei. Savasina kubhadhara vaisumukai, tibude timire panze. Ngatisumukai tibude timire panze. Endai munomirira parefu apo ipai mukana wangu. Ande, msamire, ande. Ande, handisida kuona anomira pachikoro. Ande. Right. Bambai. Handimoziva nyaya yangu kana ndichinge ndauya kudai. Vasina kubhadhara school fees, sumukai tiende timire apa. Ngatisumukai tiende apa, tisapedzera vamwe nguva, ngatifambe izvo takanyarara hedu. Fambai, ande vanangu. Ande. Right. Ande kumbatontora mari. Ande. Ande.
Out of 1,015 children on the register, 889 have been sent home, almost 90% of the school.
Ande. I'm not feeling good about sending back the kids home because it pains me. Because these kids, when they go home, they have nothing to do. They start thinking of robbing people, doing other activities like panning, which is illegal. So there's no other any things they can do at home. So their future, is not good.
It does pain me when I see what's going on, because it's about the loss of opportunity. I had opportunities in this country. I had the ability to dream because I was in an environment which allowed me to dream. I grew up in a country which has given me all of this, what I've become today. So why shouldn't thousands of other children have the same that I have had? When you ask a child what do you want to be, and they have no clue, because all they are thinking about is either feeding the grandmother or having to look for $2, even though, you know, he has his dreams, but that child is so traumatized. When kids can't dream, then I think, you know, we can pretty much say goodbye to everything.
Ngosenda kuchikoro kwenyangu ningi wakaya ngosina kunaka chino nekuti ndingesina kuenda kuchikoro.
The school fees kuishaiwa chikafu chitu kushaiwa. Ndifungwa kuti wakaipa mtima kuti wanodzinza kufana ngodzidza.
As a child of Zimbabwe, I despair for the future of the next generation. As an African, I am angered that so many of this continent's leaders continue to watch Zimbabwe's decline without question. And as a citizen of the world, I hope that one day soon, when the current leadership releases its grip on this country, the rest of the world will be there to catch Zimbabwe's children as they fall.
I'm in Peru traveling down one of the most remote stretches of the Amazon. My destination is the historic city of Iquitos, which grew incredibly rich a century ago during the Amazon's rubber boom. Today, it's the biggest city in the world that you can't drive to, marooned in the middle of the jungle. Getting there isn't easy, but it's definitely going to be a great adventure. My journey starts from Yurimaguas, at the end of Peru's road network. Traveling downriver for days through the jungle, I finally arrive in the remote city of Iquitos, before returning upriver to the spectacular Pacaya Samiria National Reserve to search for rare wildlife. Situated on the edge of the Amazon rainforest, Yurimaguas is a busy frontier town with a population of around 50,000 people. There's plenty of noisy traffic here, but happily I won't be seeing any more of that for a while. Gracias. Okay, in terms of getting to Iquitos, this is the end of the road. It's boats from here on out. 250 miles downriver. If all goes well, it should take about 2 days. The boats from here to Iquitos don't usually depart according to a regular schedule. They just leave when they're fully loaded with passengers and cargo, which makes planning a trip in advance tough, although I've been given a useful tip. Okay, you could hang around here for days waiting for a boat to leave, but not if you're smart. You get on the vegetable boat. That's the one I'm going for. All right, this says it's leaving at 5:30, which I believe because look at this. All eggs. These are never gonna last on deck. because let me tell you, it is hot here. It's about 98 degrees, 98% humidity. We're gonna move fast. Oh, okay. Hi. ¿A qué hora do we leave? What time does the boat leave?
El barco sale hoy de 5 o 6 de la tarde.
For sure? Yeah, okay. How much for the trip to Iquitos?
Hamaca, en hamaca 80 soles. Cabina vale 150, 300 soles las dos camas, cabrete completo.
Okay. Can I see the cabin?
Sí.
Okay. All right, two options. Sleep on the deck in a hammock or get your own cabin. I'm gonna check that out. All right.
Ese es cabin número 9.
Okay, cabin number 9, looking good.
Ese es las cabinas que
Oh,
se
my.
van compartiendo los...
This is a metal box. It's very, very hot in here.
Sí.
Any possibility I could have the whole place just for me?
Sí, yes.
See, but I have to buy both beds.
Claro.
150 per
Yeah,
bed, 300 total.
Yeah.
So about $100.
Sí.
Okay, good.
Muy bien.
Take it.
Te han dado la llave para que le cierren
Here's my
la
lock.
cabina.
Lock up and pay the captain, right?
Ciérralo muy bien.
All right.
Yeah.
Even though it's great to be safe and to be able to lock my stuff up, my oven-like cabin might be too hot to sleep in, so I want to get a hammock as well. They do look comfortable, and since I've got some time to kill before the boat leaves in a few hours, I head to the town market to buy myself one. Hello.
Buenos días.
Buenos días. I need a hamaca.
Hamacas,
for the
sí,
lancha.
tengo de 50.
Okay.
Este gasta 15.
Yeah, air-conditioned version.
25. Está 30.
30.
De 45.
Okay, I like this one.
Esta es la más bonita.
Yeah.
Esta está 50.
50. 50. It's a little...
Hasta
Can you go down?
45.
45.
Sí, a 45 te voy a dar.
Okay.
Ya.
Deal. As well as a hammock, I need to buy a few other bits and pieces. 3 meals a day are included in my boat fare. Hopefully not including some of the food that seems to be popular here in the market. Oh, but I do need to buy my own things to eat and drink with on the boat. Right, this boat trip is sort of a DIY experience. I gotta bring my own utensils. Hi.
Hola.
Could I buy some plato?
Sí, platos tengo así a 4 soles.
Good plato, okay.
Pocillos, así tengo a sol y medio.
All right, my own cup.
Tenedores, sol y medio.
Not sure what they're serving on board, but I'm prepared. Okay, that's it? ¿Cuántas?
Son 4, 5.50, 8.50.
There you go. Gracias. Hola. Tita. Hi.
Hi. Hello.
Is the boat leaving soon?
Yes.
It is.
Yeah. Mañana a las 10 de la mañana.
Tomorrow?
Yes.
But I thought it was leaving at 5:30.
No. Mañana en la mañana.
So much for my vegetable theory. So what do? Just hang out?
Yes. Have hammock?
I have a hammock.
Yes.
But I don't really know how to hang it.
No problem.
Can you help me?
Okay. Okay.
All right, just tie it in a knot?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, very good.
Oh, it's a little high.
Bien.
It's a little high. I'd have to take a running leap into it.
Ya, pero un momento, ¿ya?
Stretch.
Un momento. Lo vamos a bajar un poco más, ¿ya? It's good.
Yeah, it's good. All right. Okay.
Ya, see?
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's good. So much for the vegetable boat always leaving punctually. Hour after hour, well into the night, more and more vegetables are loaded on board. For the sake of the people in Iquitos who'll be eating them, let's hope they stay fresh despite the delay. hot. My bag's still here, so that's good. But I think I'm gonna head back to the deck. All right, this is it. It is definitely cooler out here, but lights are on, kids are playing, the vegetables are still being loaded. I'm not feeling totally optimistic about a good night's sleep, but it's better than the hot box. We'll give it a try. I only wish I brought some earplugs. It's been an interesting night. My takeaway from the night is there's a particular skill set to sleeping on a hammock on a boat deck in the Amazon. I haven't quite acquired that skill set yet, but we got through it. And here we go, hopefully today sometime. I'd like to get moving. The boat should have left well over 12 hours ago, but at least prospects seem good for an imminent departure. From the look of it, no more vegetables are being loaded on board. Puedo mirar? Sí. Yeah, it's all loaded? Okay. Whoa, look at this. Floor-to-ceiling, wall-to-wall vegetables. Mangoes, carrots, melons, lettuce. Now I can see why it took so long to load this boat. But nothing else can fit in here, so I think that means we're gonna take off soon. One thing's for sure, though, with all this food on board, we're certainly not going to starve if this boat happens to break down on our long journey downriver through the remote jungle. Finally, the boat really is ready to leave. All right, the moment of truth. They're pulling back the little gangplank. There we go. We're finally taken off. Say goodbye to land. 2.5 days, we'll make it to the city of Iquitos, if all goes well. Out of the more than 200 people making the trip to Iquitos aboard our boat, there are a handful of foreign travelers, but the vast majority of passengers are local Peruvians. At just $25 in a hammock for the 2.5-day journey, it's a cheap way to travel, especially when you consider that 3 meals a day are included in the price. Captain jumped in his little boat, went out to a village, came back with that, the biggest catfish I've ever seen. And now the chef's preparing it. It'll serve dozens, maybe 100 people for dinner. Very nice. Not all of the critters on this vessel are for eating. These are pets. They seem hungry because they're trying to eat my fingers. Very sweet, huh? There you go. Outside on deck, the view remains unchanging hour after hour, making it easy to forget that we're making any progress at all. And forward progress really is slow. Due to the extremely flat landscape, the river meanders in big loops back and forth through the Amazon jungle. Initially, we're actually traveling down tributaries of the main Amazon River. To start with, we're traveling down the Huallaga River before joining a bigger tributary, the Marañón. Finally, for the last part of our journey, we'll be on the Amazon itself. Although it's 250 miles in a straight line from Yurimaguas to Iquitos, the distance we're actually traveling is more like 500 miles due to all the river's twists and turns. Huallaga River we're on today, although wide, isn't nearly as easy to navigate as it looks. Its meandering route creates frequent shifts of the main navigable channel. And in some places, it's very shallow with treacherous sandbanks, as a fellow passenger explains to me. Now, what are they doing out there?
Up there, they are measuring the depth of the river because it's quite low there. That's why they're using the long stick to be checking the deepest part where the ship can be navigating downriver.
This is a heavily laden boat right now, so if we go over a shallow, we just basically run aground?
Yes, sometimes not often, but sometimes when these, kind of boats can stack on the sandbar, can stay, depending, for 1 month.
A month?
Yes, or 2 months, until the water can start coming up.
That's a new season, isn't it?
It's a new season, yes.
Okay, that's not an option. What's our second option?
The second option, it is we can take a lot of these, cargoes out, and so the ship can float up and move. The other way, how typically we do here, is wait for other ferry boats that can be coming up or going downriver, that they can help us to pull the boat to the deepest part.
So this really happens sometimes?
Yeah, this really happens sometimes. We have to be prepared for surprises and adventure on the Amazon. Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Just be prepared.
Trying really hard not to swing, but I keep banging into my neighbors here. Nobody seems to mind, but we'll see how it goes. Although most of the cargo and most passengers on our boat are staying on board to Iquitos, the boat does make quite a few stops at villages en route for a few people to get on and off, and for small amounts of cargo to be offloaded or brought on. The villagers also take the opportunity to sell us some of their local delicacies. What do you have there? Ooh. Can I have one? Osun? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. We've got some grubs from a village girl. She brought them on board. Breakfast? They're from palm trees, and they're sort of big, fat, formerly squiggly grubs that have been cooked in palm oil. I might not have another, but it's good to try one. It's only a short stop, but while we wait on board for cargo to be loaded or offloaded, in this case plantains coming on and rice being taken off, we've got time to spot some of the Amazon's unique wildlife, river dolphins. Oh, there's a huge one right there. We've stopped, see those dolphins? We've stopped at a confluence of rivers, and there's slower moving water, so that's why the dolphins hang out here, because there's fish. Oh, look at them. See them surfacing right there? It's so strange that there's dolphins in a river, isn't it? Whoa. Here in the Peruvian Amazon, there are 2 different species of dolphins. Most of the river dolphins here are the more commonly seen gray ones, but we also get a couple of tantalizing glimpses of the unique and rarely seen pink river dolphin, which is found only here in the Amazon. Oh, there's a pink one. Out of nowhere, a pink one. Right there.
As we travel downriver, most of the time we're surrounded by jungle, but throughout the day we continue to pass a number of remote villages. Usually we carry on by, only stopping at the larger villages, where there's enough cargo to be taken on and off our boat so as to make stopping worthwhile.
This boat is actually flagging us down mid-river, telling us they want to come on board. The thing is, with the smaller villages, they have to board while we're moving. We don't stop for them. They've got empty barrels, and they want to put them on board, send them to Iquitos, where they'll get filled with fuel or sugarcane rum or something, and eventually they'll come back to this local village. All right, that was a tricky landing. It's a real art form to come on board, do this exchange, all without stopping. We are moving, moving, moving.
The languid pace of our boat, the endless, unchanging view, and the heavy, humid heat makes me and seemingly most other passengers on the boat really dozy. I sleep through the heat of the day for hours and wake up only just in time for dinner.
That's where dinner is? Okay. What's for dinner? Oh, we've got some rice. There's a lone fried egg. I think that might be mine. I'm a little bit late for dinner. Looks like the chicken soup is all gone. This man has to cook for 300 people sometimes in this small kitchen, so this is impressive. Very nice. Gracias. Can't believe this spot isn't taken. You can have dinner anywhere you want on this boat, but this is the place for me.
Having slept through much of the day, I'm now wide awake and looking for some evening entertainment. First, things don't look promising, but then I'm in luck.
Yeah, you want to show me? Okay.
At the back of the boat, hidden behind some vegetable boxes, I find the captain and crew playing poker.
A little blackjack, yeah? 21? Okay, all right. Who's stealing? All right, this is not how they do it in Vegas, people. Cut the deck, Captain, cut the deck. All right, am I dealing?
This version of the game seems to be played 1 against 1, without face cards. And from what I understand, the rules are that you win if your cards add up closest to the maximum, 21.
Okay. 14. All right. You know, I didn't expect you guys to be so easy. Ante up, everybody. Yeah.
$2.
I'm feeling lucky. This is great, you guys. Oh, he played $5. He played $5. I'll match your 5, and I will raise you 5. I think he's bluffing. Okay. 5, 14. Read it, weep. Okay, let's go. To say, I always sleep better with a little fresh cash in my pocket. Sleep like a baby tonight.
First thing on what should be our final morning of the journey, we wake up to something that I hadn't expected at all: dense fog.
We must go in slowly, otherwise we may be can crash with sandbank, you know. So that's the reason we just leave the boat move by the current. That's the experience of the boat driver.
So we already left a day late, and now this fog probably means significant delays.
Couple hours at least, yeah, or more maybe. If the weather continues, it could be another day.
Another day. So this is like the definition of you have to go with the flow, right?
Yes.
It's a whole philosophy around this trip. We've come into shore again. They're not comfortable being in the middle of the river.
Because if you go in the middle, it's so foggy, so you can be lost sometimes.
Lost?
Yeah, lost.
Not lost. I mean, can't you just go downriver?
Sometimes when you are not looking the bank, you cannot see the direction.
Yeah.
So maybe you think that it's maybe on the left, you can go on the left, but sometimes doing a circle.
Oh.
Maybe you can be going upstream again.
Oh, this is getting more complicated. So it's better we just stay close to shore.
Close to shore, not so faster, so slowly.
No drama.
No drama, yeah.
We stay becalmed in the fog for a couple of hours or so, but then the heat of the day gradually kicks in and the sun burns it off. Luckily, we haven't been delayed too long and should still be able to reach Iquitos tonight. Before we get there, however, our long journey downriver has finally reached a pivotal moment.
In this river that we are leaving behind, that is the Marañón River. That river that you can see, that is the Ucayali River. We are exactly here in the confluence of the two rivers that forms the mighty Amazon.
So this is it. This is the spot.
This is it.
This is where it begins officially.
Yes.
Uh-huh. How far to the Atlantic?
About 2,000 miles to the Atlantic Ocean.
Unbelievable. It's a huge amount of water. I read somewhere that if you added up the next 8 biggest rivers in the world, all of the water in those rivers, it wouldn't equal the amount of water in the Amazon.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes.
It's astonishing. The main reason for the extraordinary amount of water in the Amazon is, of course, rain. The rainy season has just begun here. This storm behind me may or may not catch up with us, but if it does, look out, because when it rains here, it pours. As it turns out, we escaped the rain for now. With just a few hours to go before we get to Iquitos, I used the time to get up to speed with the city's remarkable history just over a century ago, when it was at the center of the Amazon's rubber boom. It's an amazing story. A few rubber barons, it seems, became incredibly rich selling natural rubber to the world. As the best quality rubber could only be obtained from trees growing in the Amazon, the region's rubber came to be worth a fortune once bicycles, motorcycles, and cars were invented, all running on millions of rubber tires. How ironic that today Iquitos is the biggest city in the world that you can't even drive to. After so much time on the river, I'm excited to almost be in Iquitos. Another hour or so and we'll be docking. And I want to figure out more about the rubber boom history here, because after all, that's why such a huge city exists in the middle of the jungle. Finally, we see the lights of Iquitos in the distance. Remarkably, despite being so isolated in the jungle, hundreds of miles from the nearest connecting road, the great city we're about to arrive in has a population of around 500,000 people. We are sliding right in, threading the needle into this port. These guys really know what they're doing. Landfall, Iquitos. After quietly floating through the remote Amazon jungle for the past 3 days, it's an astonishing contrast to be on the streets of Iquitos, surrounded by crowded, raucous nightlife.
Todo, todo. Oh, yes. A ver, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, $10. Dile que tú vas a escoger. Gracias. Eso es mío, falta de él. Falta de él.
Listen to the sound of that rain. It was pouring out, but that I expect. I am in the middle of the rainforest, but what I didn't expect was what my hotel looks like. I mean, check this out. This is rubber boom era money at its finest. These got these huge high ceilings and chandeliers. And the tiling down here is gorgeous. It's inside and outside, and it was all imported from Europe at great expense way back then. But the real kicker is right here, this bed. As much as I loved my hammock on board, I was pretty happy to see this last night.
With its population of around 500,000, Iquitos today is bigger than ever. But its heyday was undoubtedly during the rubber boom in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Back in the old days, when all the world's motor vehicles so badly needed the Amazon's natural rubber, Iquitos grew hugely wealthy from the rubber trade. And today, all the grandest and most beautiful buildings in Iquitos date back to that time. I'm given a tour of the city's extraordinary rubber boom history by a local American expat, Scott Humfeld.
This is one of the more ornate buildings in Iquitos. It's the Cohen Company. They were exporters and importers. They exported rubber and imported other things from Europe. The building was made with tiles imported from Portugal and Italy.
Yeah, very intricate.
You know, the intricate steel work.
Uh-huh.
And now it's a grocery store.
It's a grocery store,
And a good one.
One of the better designed grocery stores around.
Yeah, an elegant grocery store.
Nearby, on the main square, is the city's most unusual rubber boom building, the so-called Iron House. Said to have been designed by Gustave Eiffel in Paris, it was assembled here in 1890 after being shipped piece by piece from Europe.
So you can see how this is indeed iron. And it's no longer a rubber warehouse, which the bottom was. It's a pharmacy where they do sell rubbers. But rubber had an incredible amount of uses, from waterproofing to tires to gaskets, and helped allow the industrial revolution to really take off. So it's an incredible, valuable product.
And at the beginning, it was all here, essentially.
It's all here.
Yeah. So that's why this whole region went.
Yeah, it was a huge boom. A few people made a lot of money. The rubber barons would send their laundry back to Europe to be laundered because the river water is considered dirty here. They would bring over canned foods from Europe because they weren't used to the fish and the other products that are eaten by the local people. So they kept sort of their own version of Europe here rather than adapting to the local conditions.
Maybe not all wise decisions. I mean, an iron
Definitely
house
not.
in this climate,
Yeah.
foolhardy.
Very hot.
The most famous of all the rubber barons in Iquitos was Carlos Fitzcarraldo, who was the inspiration for the 1980s movie Fitzcarraldo.
One of the interesting things about Fitzcarraldo was he was looking for an area to tap rubber that hadn't been exploited beforehand, and he knew of an area, but it wasn't accessible by river that he knew of. So what he did was, he hauled his ship over a mountain. In the movie, they dragged the entire ship over the mountain. In real life, he took the ship apart. He enlisted a large number of indigenous people, and by enlisted, I mean he had rifles and threatened them with death, and a number of people died in doing that. But he was able to get the ship in pieces over the mountain, and then from there, he found a river route to bring the rubber down to Iquitos, to where it was shipped out to Europe and the United States.
So it was a success.
I don't think the indigenous people would see it that way, but for Fitzcarraldo it was, and he made a fortune.
Carlos Fitzcarraldo was very wealthy, but the richest rubber baron in Iquitos was probably Julio Arana, whose Anglo-Peruvian Amazon Rubber Company was listed on the London Stock Exchange.
Here, we have Arana's Bank. It's now the Amazon Bistro, which is a French-Belgian restaurant.
That was unusual, right? That one of the rubber barons had his own bank. I mean, they didn't all have their own bank.
No, I believe he's the only one that did have his own bank. And he had it centrally located here on the waterfront area, because this was where the rubber ships came in, carrying the rubber from the outlying areas where it was collected, putting it on the bigger ships to ship back to Europe and to the United States. This was a very busy area with boats coming and going all the time.
Can this all be water?
We're just at the beginning of the rainy season, so the river is still low right now.
So water comes all the way up here?
Water comes all the way up to the bottom of this wall.
Today, more than 100 years after the rubber boom, only a handful of the hundreds of steamboats that once hauled rubber along the Amazon to and from Iquitos still survive. Thankfully, Dr. Richard Bodmer, an Iquitos-based conservationist, has helped preserve some of the last remaining steamboats. He's turned one into a historic boats museum.
This is an Ayapur. Ayapur was built in Hamburg, Germany in 1906. What happened during the rubber boom is that the rubber barons had so much money. Every time this boat would go out for 1 month collecting rubber, it would come back with about $2 million in today's value in its hull.
$2 million. Oh my God.
And so that's how lucrative it was. So they were able to buy the top of the line boats, the best boats built.
None of this could have happened without the steamboat, correct?
That's right. None of this. Because the currents of the river are so strong that you couldn't go upriver without the steamboats. And when they first came in the 1850s, everything changed here.
Right.
And for the first time, you could have commercial activities in the Amazon. The steamboats built Iquitos.
Given the time of year, we have to clamber down to where the Ayapua is beached in the mud. But with the rainy season begun and the Amazon just starting its annual rise of more than 30 feet, it won't be long before the area floods and the Ayapua floats again.
This old helm of the Ayapur was many of its original features. Here we have a whole steam horn. Every time the Ayapur would come back to port, it would let everybody know that it's full of rubber. And so they blow the horn.